With the release of the Shattered Veil getting really close now, Treyarch gave us a ton of information about everything coming with the map. The perks, new Scorestreaks, gobblegums, wonder weapons, a lot of stuff, a lot of exciting stuff, even little teases at some future updates too. And all this is going to be so exciting, and I know you guys are just as hyped as for this map as I am, so you might as well show me by dropping a like and subscribing. And with that said, let's get into all the information. Now, first off, we get an image that shows us one of the wonder weapons, but we'll get to this in a little bit. They kind of do a little summary here, but we're going to get through all this ourselves. Right here, we get a really cool picture of the map. I like how this looks. A lot of this T-Rex is so cool, bro. If we could get a T-Rex boss fight, I'd be so happy. I'm getting a little bit more and more doubtful as we go on, but I really hope it's a thing. Now, they do give us a little summary of the map. They say, this with the Sentinel artifact in hand, the crew heads to a remote wooden hill above Liberty Falls to meet with Sam, an old mansion which has been retrofitted to blank. Only with the aid of Sam's synthetic mind can the team hope to unlock the ancient artifact's mysteries and bring back ancient Maxes. What could possibly go wrong? Now, obviously, they're hinting at something bad happening throughout this map. Maybe it's Sam betraying us, or maybe it's something else entirely. But that Sam AI betrayal has been hinted at a lot. But I feel like at this point, it feels too obvious. So I feel like maybe Treyarch is trying to bait and switch us with that thing at this point. But it could just be obvious. I don't know. But I am kind of worried about that. How the Sentinel artifact is working into all this, because this is just not how the Sentinel artifact works. Like, if you guys played the Chaos or remember the Chaos storyline, it just shouldn't work like this. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll just see. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything else besides that. Now, they do tell us when this map is going to be coming out, and at the launch of it, it will have the Easter egg available right away at launch, but it's going to be on April 2nd at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So that's when we should expect all this. Now, of course, they tell us who's going to be redoing into our crew, and it says Ravnov, Peck, and Strauss. And I really hope Peck is here again, because he was just nowhere to be seen in the tomb, which was super weird. But either way, now we get a look at what I believe is our elite enemy, and it's the return of the Disciple. Now, we'll touch on the look of it in a second, but if you guys played Cold War, you would know how the Disciple works. It's just an area around it, if the zombies are affected by it, they get stronger and a little bit faster and just buffs them up. But the only difference from this one compared to the original Disciple is that now, if they are under that effect of the Disciple, they could actually evolve into a Doppelgas from our, I guess, both last two maps they had Doppelgas. And if you still let the Doppelgas stay under the effect for the Disciple, they could even turn into an Amalgam. Now, keep in mind, the Amalgams aren't the default elite enemies, but it seems like they could spawn this way here. Now, to quickly touch on the look of this guy, because I'm going to make a whole video on this, because this is super significant, but obviously this Disciple is wearing the cloaks that you've seen the 9, or I guess the cult from the Chaos storyline wear, which is fine, whatever, but the one it's wearing specifically with all these medallions is super significant, and I'm going to make a whole video separate on that, so we're not going to waste time on it here, but that is crazy. And assuming Treyarch isn't getting lazy here, or just forgetting like important factors of the Chaos storyline and understanding how important this is, then this is actually insane, or Treyarch is just getting sloppy. Either way, next we do have a new enemies, which are going to be the toxic enemies that are going to take place of these special rounds. And now the toxic enemies are actually coming back from the Chaos storyline, because these ones will just have a little fart around them if you walk in it. It really doesn't hurt you that bad, but the whole point of it is to stop the healing process from happening, and especially in a game like this, it has a long time to start healing. This could actually be kind of annoying in this one specifically. But then we look at some of the wonder weapons, or at least one of the wonder weapons we're getting, if you count this. But the Ray Gun Mark II is going to be on this map. How cool is that? Now, alongside with the... Now, actually, one thing before that, story-wise, they do confirm that unlike the jet gun and other wonder weapons that have returned from the old Ether storyline to this one, that they just decided to say, oh, some random guy just reinvented this thing. Nope, not with this one. This was actually found in the Dark Ether. So it's the original one from the original Ether storyline directly to it, which is the first time this has happened. So that's really exciting. But this time around, we're actually going to have different variants. and they kind of sound a bit similar but different from the ones that we had, the variants of the Raygun Mark IIs that we had in Alpha Omega in Black Ops 4. But first off, we have the W variant, and this says, offering a similar bullet pattern to some machine guns, this has a random chance to ignite enemies. So it sounds like to me that this is just going to be full auto, like a fast fire rate full auto gun, except it just has built-in blast furnace or whatever the fire one is in this game. So that's interesting, I guess. Then we have the P variant, which shooting ammunition like a shotgun has a chance to spawn a sigil with the ability to grant invulnerability to the player standing on it for a limited time. So in of course Alpha Omega, they did have one like this too. They had a shotgun one. It was kind of the worst one if I'm remembering correctly, but they seem like they add the ability for a sigil to be on the ground, whatever. And then you have the R1 dropping dropping zombies with a marksman like discharge. Expect the chances to spread a plague infection that can inflict an area of effect damage. So it sounds like they just added this plague zombie effect to a marksman style Raygun Mark II. Not gonna lie, these aren't too exciting to me. They don't sound anything too crazy. I'm being straight up with how it sounds like to me, and some of them, these first two, feel like they're just exactly from Alpha Omega, except slightly different. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'm not too hyped by that. But also, we do have the Wunderwaffe DG-2 returning. Hopefully, they just forget what they said in Cold or Vanguard Zombies and actually just said Richthofen built this one like it should be, but not that random guy. I can't remember who they said built it. But unlike the Raygun Mark II, it's just the Wunderwaffe. It's not going to be anything else. Now, we are actually getting some rewards for completing the main quest, and surprisingly, Carver's getting something. Well, I guess Carver got one before too, but he's actually getting a cool one now, and it's actually the Pentagon Thief from 5. He's getting a skin like that, which is a surprise. I didn't expect that at all with this map, but there we go. That is interesting for sure. Then, of course, we have probably the coolest thing outside of the map itself coming, which is the return of Double Tap. Now, how this is going to work is actually by default before augments is just going back to the original Double Tap, not Double Tap 2.0, because if you guys remember, what the original Double Tap did is just increase your fire rate by about 33%, but then the Double Tap 2.0 version came out with Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3, and that would not only increase your fire rate, but also double damage. Well, technically, you would just shoot 2 bullets for every one. It's pretty much just doubling your damage, but in a different way. But it loses that ability, of course. But we have augments that we'll get into in a little bit. So it's just World at War Black Ops 1 Double Tap by default. But with its augments, we have a couple to go over. First off, we have for the major ones, Double Jeopardy. Normal zombies at low health have a chance to die immediately when shot. I just don't like chance things like this, especially if they're already at low health. Like, that's probably going to be really useless in the lower rounds. So I can't imagine many people running this. Maybe the chances are going to be better, and maybe low health is more than I'm thinking, but I don't know. Then we have Double Impact. Double hits on the same target in quick succession deal more damage. That sounds pretty face value, sounds pretty good. Double Standard, all non-critical shots do double damage, only applies to normal bullet weapons, and this is literally making the Double Tap 2.0 ability back, except minus for headshots, and that could be really annoying, especially if you're using Deadshot Daiquiri, because you lose all the bonuses that you normally would get through Deadshot Daiquiri in terms of damage, but also, like, if you're going to be getting Deadshot Daiquiri, this is going to be completely useless because you're auto-aiming to heads. So that's going to be interesting to say the very least. I don't know. Maybe it's going to be good against like special elites, and this would be the one to go. But right now, I'm leaning towards, without obviously using it, Double Impact. Now for the minor augments, we have double time, increase fire rate bonus. So it just increases it more. Now, assuming it's going to be like the original one, maybe it starts off at 33%. This bumps it by 10 more percent to 43% fire rate increase, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. After that, we have double or nothing. Weapons have a chance to do double damage, but also have a chance to do 0 damage. So I don't know what the percentages are, but this, based on what the percentages actually are, this could rather be really good or really bad, because I'm assuming if it's like most time your bullets aren't going to be affected by this, but every now and then they're just going to randomly do double damage and bring back that Double Tap 2.0, or they can just do 0 damage. And I feel like it's going to be so trolly. Somebody's going to be running this and they're going to have a shotgun or sniper, and there's going to be one zombie in their way and they try to shoot it and it just does 0 damage. I already foreseen that. What? Like, I'm calling that clip. When people see that going around, I'm calling it because of this one specifically. And because of that chance, I probably want to avoid this, but we'll have to really come. It really comes down to all the percentages when people figure it out. Then the final one we have is double play, killing 2 enemies in quick succession. Excuse me. Have a chance to return 2 rounds to your magazine. Only applies to normal bullet weapons. Now, I think by default this might not be that good, but if you combine this with the augment from a Deadshot Daiquiri that does literally the exact same thing, I wonder how crazy this could be, especially like with a shotgun. Like you just keep spam shooting a shotgun, that could be crazy. And speaking of shotguns, actually, it could be crazy with this one because if you think about it, the original double tap made you shoot shotguns faster too. Like you pumped it faster, so maybe that's actually gonna help shotguns too. I didn't think about that until now, but these could all be really cool. I think this is overall going to be a great addition to the game. Now, of course, we have 3 new gobblegums. We have a rare, legendary, and whimsical. The first one is tactical diffusion, rare. Disables the next nuke power up explosion you activate and gives everyone 2,000 essence instead. That could be like really broken for like 4-player co-op. Everyone gets 4,000 points, which is like 8,000, or wait, 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, 8,000 points, right? So that's really cool, I think. And I wonder if it'll work with double points. That could be really broken if it does. And even on solo it could be cool. Like, I think this is a really fun, cool, rare one, and I'm glad that's where they put the rarity. Then we have support group, which is a legendary, what might be a little overrated, but it says gobble up this tasty gobblegum to acquire ARCXD, Mangler Cannon, Sentry Gun, and Mutant Injection support items. So it sounds like it just spawns those in front of you when you activate it. And I feel like this is only going to be really used for the mutant injection. And maybe like if you're going high rounds and you just need a mutant injection fast, you could run it or something like that. But I can't imagine it'll be useful besides that. Then we have Die Pitch, which is whimsical. Zombies have a high-pitched voices, last for 3 minutes. This might be a fun thing just to annoy your teammates with. They're just not paying attention, else you just pop that. So that should be interesting or funny. Then, of course, we have a returning score streak, which is the Death Machine. This was in Cold War, and it is back. And it's going to cost 1750 salvage. Now, what I'm curious about this is I wonder how powerful this is against not only probably the boss on this map, but also what if you bring it back to previous bosses like Citadel, especially, and maybe even Terminus, because in Cold War, this was really good against bosses in that game. So I wonder if it's going to be something like that, and it's going to give a whole new strategy for all the other previous boss fights and even this one. So that should be fun. But then, of course, they tease that's things. Well, that's everything that's going to be at the launch of this season 3 update. That's all cool, but they do tease a couple things. In the future, we're getting the Shattered Veil directed mode. It's going to be coming with a mid-season update. But then we also have Team Cranked, which is the launch window. So it's not going to be the mid-season update, but it's not going to be at launch. It's going to be somewhere in between. And this is just Cranked except for a team, and it's going to work exactly how Cranked worked inside of this game and even Cold War, except the difference is that everybody on the team shares the same crank timer. That's literally the only difference. But thankfully enough, we do have main quests enabled for this, and if we think similar to how it worked in Cowabunga Crank, they gave out free, like, really good gobblegums for completing Easter eggs in this mode, so hopefully they do the same thing right there. But they do give us another thing here that if you actually get to a specific round with this one, see right here it says Team Crank also delivers some tantalizing rewards for players who can survive past round 50 on each map with a limited time mode available. So maybe what they're saying here is that those gobblegum rewards are not going to be for the Easter eggs like they were with Cowabunga Crank. Instead, they're going to be with the higher rounds. So that should be interesting to see what the rewards are. But then finally, we have other things coming with the mid-season update on top of the directed mode, and this is going to be a new limited time mode called Zombie Snacks. They don't explain what it means. They give us a little symbol, but I'm not sure what that could be. I'm kind of a little interested, but I haven't been a big fan of limited time modes in the past, so hopefully this is something good. But alongside with that, Frost Blast is going to be coming back, which is a thing because it's never been good. But that's everything coming with this season 3 update, especially with that. But tell me everything you're excited for. What are you excited for the most? Obviously, the Shattered Veil and then Double Tap. But if you have some other thing, just tell me about it too. Either way, though, that's going to wrap up this video for me. Thank you guys all so much for watching. But I'm going to go, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.